jurisdiction that it belongs in, and it's all divided into, certain areas. You got the Atlanta area home ownership. You got the one up in New Jersey, New York. So there's different. There's different, home ownership centers. And then an M&M contractor, someone bids on the property. Well, let me rephrase it. Someone bids on a HUD contract. Okay, and they are basically there to manage the properties in the area and to help make sure it's marketed for resale. Okay, they work with other companies and other foreclosure industries. They help it get it back on the market. Now, M&M oversees also the management of the property, or they handle it if the bank no longer wants to be in business of having FDIC or other types of government backings. Okay, so once the property is in the hands of an M&M contractor, the work is then distributed out to subs. So after it leaves M&M or the government contractor, it's all subbed out. It goes to larger preservation companies, and it goes to a HUD broker and smaller foreclosure cleaning companies. Okay, it goes to them. So just know where you are in that industry. You might be working with a larger preservation company. You might work with a HUD broker, a realtor. You might be able to work for other asset management companies, but you really need to understand there are layers to get that property to you. And then once it gets to you, the government or the banks have it, then it goes to larger preservation companies, then it's broken down to regional preservation companies, and then the state some people manage statewide, and then some people have certain counties and jurisdictions, and then it goes down to the local contractor and what you would call a subcontractor from if they were working for you. And then a subcontractor might have other employees working for them. So once it leaves, the larger preservation, it kind of gets a little fuzzy in there because people are kind of everywhere. They try to keep it structured and tiered down, but for the most part, you can only handle what you can handle. And the regional can handle several states, and then from there they distribute the work down to people who handle that certain state. And then from there, people have certain counties, and people then have certain cities and zip codes within the county, if not the whole county. And then of course you got your mom and pops, who are your small preservation companies, who either do the work themselves, contract it out, hire employees, or a combination of all three. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Is that clear? If not, please put a comment below, and I will make sure to respond to you guys. Okay. All right. Moving forward, services provided. So what is property preservation, and what services will you provide? There are several. Okay. You're going to definitely be doing what is called or termed as trash outs. Okay. And all you do is you go on the property. You remove all the trash and debris, get it all together, clean it all up, and get it out of the property. You want to make sure the property is ready for resale. You want to be able to make it as easy as possible for the next person to be able to move in. I'm doing grass cuts. Okay, sometimes the grass is easy, like this right here one, very, not too bad, where you got to go in there and just, even it all out. And other times it's going to be atrocious. Let me tell you, the unmentionable stuff. Okay? So, really, if I can go through pictures and keep going through pictures, for hours, right? But I want you to get that, yes, you can do this business. It doesn't take any extra skills other than, business skills, meaning just manage your money, right? Managing the work orders, make sure they get done. Okay, if you can make sure you manage your money and make sure the work gets done, then yes, you can do this business. That's the most you have to do, and just communicate to the people who you're working with. So the typical hours, if you get in the business and you do more inspections, then you should know you're going to be working from sunrise to sunset. So you want to make sure you're working during the daytime hours. But the earlier you're able to get out there, get those photos taken, finish those inspections, the more time you're able to make more money. Okay, so sunrise to sunset are typical hours for inspections. Preservation work from 8 to about 7 p.m. or sunset, depending on what time of the year it is. And then rehab, you want to really make sure you're working during regular business hours, because you're going in the residential places, and people are a little suspicious of people coming in, and make sure you're wearing a uniform or some type of uniform. I know it's a little harder when you're hiring people out, but if it's going to be you and your employees working, or you and your family working, or whoever is working with you, make sure you represent as the best you can and you wear uniforms. Otherwise, people are going to do what they're going to do when you subcontract out. Just make sure when they do that you're doing it during regular business hours. These are usually the hours people are at work. Not always, but in most cases. But you don't want to be banging and pushing and hauling trash at like 2 o'clock in the morning because you're behind on a work order, or because you're trying to get a gang bang'em start. No, you really have to be respectful to the people who live in the area. You're a visitor. You're coming into their neighborhood. They don't know who you are. When you're done making your noise, causing your mess, whatever you do, they're the ones that have to live there and deal with the repercussions. So make sure you're being professional. You're making sure you get everything that you leave, or rather, you leave the place in a better condition than it was when you first got there. All right, leave it better. Always leave it better, and make sure you respect them, because this is their home. Alright, so kind of really quick, typical service provided. Like I said, you're going to be changing some locks, some deadbolts. This is the FHA standards for the prices that you're going to be given. I'm not going to go into it right now because it's really a lot to really dive into, but you can at least have an idea, of the maximum dollar amount that FHA pays to the vendors. And like I said, depending on where you are in the food chain, it depends on how much you're going to get. Okay, so here's some locks we changed at a property. You do some trash outs. You're going to get here, get to the properties, you're going to do the inspection, see what's there, assess the value and the damage, and then get the work done. You're going to be doing some grass cuts, and the grass cuts basically depend on the amount of grass there is. So here's an idea of typical service you provide around grass and lawn maintenance for FHA. And it's this picture of a guy that I had working for me. He was contracted out. He did a lot of good work for me. Okay, and making sure you document everything along the way. Document everything that you do, the way you can get paid and you won't be held up. And of course, during the winter season, you got to winterize the properties, and then when spring comes, you got to de-winterize the property. So here's some prices you get for that. Make sure the air conditioner works properly, and make sure the hot water heater works, and there's no paint and health hazards in the property. There's a lot you have to do. Making sure that it's clean, and presentable for anybody who comes to the property. Alright, so I hope you get an idea that there is a lot to learn, but it's not so much that you can't learn it, okay? I hope you understand that that everything that you do in the business is basic servicing of properties. You're basically servicing the property. You're basically a property manager. You're making sure the work gets done, whether you do it yourself, whether you do it, with the help of others, or you contract the work out. Okay, you're the go-to person for that property. Your goal is to make sure it's clean, make sure it's safe, make sure it's secure, so the realtor can get in there and do their thing and get it back up on the market. So yeah. So our next video, I'm going to begin to dive into more of the things you're going to need to get started. at a minimum to get your business up and running. So you're going to really want to stay tuned for that, because I'm going to begin to dive into that a lot more. And of course, I'm going to dive into the pricing and all that good stuff. The things you really want, to make sure you have a pen and pencil ready. But this is a really quick overview of what you can expect as you dive into this industry. So just remember, you are the professional, and these companies, whether it's a larger preservation company, an asset management company, a realtor, the bank itself, it doesn't matter. Whoever you're working for, they are depending on you to be the eyes and the ears to the property, and to get that work done, and to get it done on time and in the right way. And I really want to stress on time, because in this industry, time is money, and that has never been so true than in the foreclosure cleaning business. Your time is your money. It may sound cliche, but it is definitely the truth. So I'm gonna stop here, and I have gone over my 10 minutes, well over my 10 or 15 minutes. But I really want you to have an understanding. I really wanted to take my time, but still give you content and give you value that you can actually take to the bank. And that is literal. Take the value to the bank. And we have a journey. You could sit here for a couple hours and devour them all up at one time. This is for you. I'm doing this for you. It's my labor to help you, because I didn't have it when I got started. And I always wonder, is anybody out there that can help? And no one's going to give you a handout, do it for you, spoon feed you. But I'm going to give you a hand up. Okay, I'm going to give you a hand up. Here I am. Let me help you. Let me pull you up to at least to where you're able to run on your own. Okay? So before I go, again, like I said, my name is Carolette Wright, and you have just watched What is Property Preservations. You can go to my website. You can email me. No matter what, I want you to leave your questions and your comments below. That'll help me begin to understand what you need, what you don't need. Feedback is just feedback, right? It's just directional motion of where you guys want to take me, or not take me, where you want me to take you. I really believe that when the student is ready, the teacher will come. If you're really ready and you have the right questions, I'll begin to help direct and guide you on where you want to go in your business, okay? But you have to give me feedback. You have to give me questions. Let me know if it's not working for you. Let me know if you need more of this explained or that explained, and I'll do my best. And if I can't explain it on this platform, I will direct you where you should go in order to get the information you need, whether it's in my book or whether it's in the other 7-day video trainings, whatever. Okay? So again, our next video is talking about what are the minimal requirements to get your property preservation business up and running. And I want you guys to stay tuned. I want you guys to show up in the next video and like this page. Share this video with your business partner and let them know what you're working on, and start beginning to assemble your teams and start talking to people who could be good at helping you make some money in the industry. And just know that without sheer determination and willpower, you're not going to succeed. But if you have those two things, you'll do just fine. You do absolutely fine. Alright, so take care, and remember, this world is your stage. So dominate it, okay? This world is your stage, dominate it. Take care.